Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Or maybe you've had one of those moments where a familiar name is right on the tip of your tongue, but just won't come out? If so, you're not alone. And no, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means your brain, like any other part of your body, needs a little tune-up every now and then. After 70, many people start to worry about their memory. Some even begin to fear that every forgotten word or misplaced item is a sign of something more serious. But here's the truth. Your brain is still capable of learning, adapting, and staying sharp, no matter your age. In fact, there are simple exercises you can do every day, in just 10 minutes, that can help improve your memory, your focus, and even your mood. You don't need to buy any fancy programs, and you certainly don't need to be a tech wizard. All you need is a little time, a bit of curiosity, and a willingness to show your brain the same love and attention you'd give to your body during a walk or a stretch. In this video, we're going to explore 5 brain-boosting exercises you can do at home. They're easy, enjoyable, and most importantly, they work. Let's start with one of the most powerful yet underrated activities you can do, one that's probably already a part of your life: storytelling. Now, I'm not talking about writing a novel or giving a speech. I mean simply recalling and sharing memories. Take a moment each day to tell a story from your life. Maybe it's a memory from your childhood. Maybe it's something funny that happened at work decades ago. Or perhaps it's the story of how you met your spouse. When you share these stories, whether it's with a friend, a grandchild, or even just speaking them out loud to yourself, you're actually activating multiple parts of your brain. You're pulling from long-term memory, you're organizing your thoughts, you're finding the right words, and that's a workout. It's like taking your brain to the gym without ever leaving your chair. Try making it a habit. Pick a different memory each day. You might even start keeping a little journal. Nothing formal, just a few sentences a day about something you remember. You'll be surprised how much you recall and how good it feels to bring those moments back to life. Now, let's shift gears to something more physical, but still deeply connected to your brain. Have you ever tried using your non-dominant hand for basic tasks? It might sound silly at first, but brushing your teeth with your left hand, if you're right-handed, or stirring your coffee with the opposite hand can actually stimulate parts of your brain that rarely get used. Why does this work? Because your brain has to form new connections to control that unfamiliar movement. It's not automatic anymore, so your mind pays closer attention. That heightened focus helps create new neural pathways, and those pathways are what keep your brain flexible and alert. Start small. Maybe open a door with your other hand. Try writing your name. Even simple things like switching the hand you use for the TV remote can make a difference. You might fumble a bit at first, and that's the point. That little bit of challenge is exactly what your brain needs to stay young and adaptable. And while we're talking about trying new things, here's another great way to keep your brain sharp. Learn a new word each day. Just one. It doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. In fact, the more relevant the word is to your life, the better. Maybe it's a word you've heard before but never quite understood. Or maybe it's something brand new that tickles your curiosity. Once you find that word, try using it in a sentence. Say it out loud. Write it down. Use it when talking to someone, even if just playfully. Learning new vocabulary keeps the language centers of your brain active and engaged. And that's especially important because language is often one of the first areas where age-related decline shows up. And here's a bonus. If you're learning words from another language, even just a few basic phrases, you're giving your brain an even bigger boost. Studies show that bilingual people often have stronger cognitive resilience as they age. But even if you're monolingual, the act of learning and using just one new word each day is more powerful than you might think. You see, the real secret to staying sharp after 70 isn't about doing anything extreme. It's about consistency. These little exercises, these tiny moments of intentional effort, add up. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It's enough to reawaken parts of your brain that may have gone a bit quiet over the years. What's really exciting is how quickly many people notice a difference. They find themselves remembering appointments more easily. They feel more present in conversations. They even start to notice their moods lifting, just from the confidence of knowing their minds are still active and alive. And that's the heart of it. Staying mentally sharp isn't just about remembering where you left your keys. It's about feeling more connected to the world around you. It's about confidence, joy, curiosity, and the simple belief that your best thinking years don't have to be behind you. Let's keep going. There's another exercise that can make a huge difference, and chances are, you've already been doing a version of it without even realizing it. I'm talking about puzzles. Not the 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles that take up your entire dining room table, though those are great too, but smaller, bite-sized challenges that you can do in just a few minutes. Things like crosswords, Sudoku, or even word search puzzles you find in the newspaper or online. Now, you might think, those are just games. But here's the truth. They're more than games. They're brain workouts. When you solve a puzzle, you're asking your mind to focus, recognize patterns, recall facts, and think logically. It's the mental equivalent of doing squats and push-ups. But here's the best part. You don't have to be perfect at them. In fact, the best benefits come when you're just outside your comfort zone, when the puzzle is just hard enough to make you pause, think, and really engage. That moment of what comes next? Is exactly what your brain needs to stretch and grow. And don't worry if you're not a puzzle person. There are so many different kinds to try. Maybe you enjoy riddles or number patterns. Maybe it's matching games on your phone. Even playing a few rounds of memory match with your grandkids can be a great exercise in disguise. The key is to do something that makes you think, and ideally, something that makes you smile a little while you're doing it. Let's talk about something else that's powerful, yet so often overlooked. It's called mental imagery, and it's as simple as closing your eyes and visualizing something. Let's say you're getting ready for the day. Before you even leave your room, try to picture what you're going to do, step by step. See yourself making your coffee. Imagine the walk to the mailbox. Picture what shirt you'll wear, what book you'll pick up, who you might call. Why does this matter? Because when you visualize an activity before you do it, your brain is essentially rehearsing the task. You're activating the same parts of your brain that light up during the real activity, especially in areas related to memory, coordination, and planning. Athletes have used this technique for decades to sharpen their performance. But it works just as well in everyday life. And it doesn't have to stop with daily routines. You can use mental imagery to recall places you've been, faces you've loved, or even stories from a favorite book. The act of picturing these things in your mind, with detail and intention, helps strengthen the areas of the brain that control both memory and imagination. If you enjoy it, take it a step further. Start telling yourself little, visual stories each morning. Imagine a garden you'd like to walk through. Picture a beach vacation from years ago. Try to recall the sounds, the smells, the colors. You'd be amazed at how this simple act of visualization can lift your mood and keep your memory vibrant. And speaking of moods, there's another piece to this puzzle that ties everything together: movement. Now, I know this video is about brain exercises, but let me tell you a little secret. Your brain and your body are partners. What one does affects the other. So if you really want your brain to stay sharp, even a few minutes of light movement can make a huge difference. You don't need to go jogging or lift weights. Just try some gentle stretching. Move your arms in circles. March in place. Better yet, try combining movement with mental engagement. One of my favorite examples? Dancing. Think about it, when you dance, you're moving your body, listening to rhythm, and often remembering steps or patterns. It's a full brain activity. That's why dancing has been linked to a lower risk of cognitive decline in older adults. Even just swaying to music in your kitchen while singing along counts. It's joyful, it's energizing, and it wakes up parts of your brain that stay quiet when you're sitting still. Or try this. Turn on a song you love, and while it's playing, try to remember the first time you heard it. Where were you? Who were you with? What did that moment feel like? Now you've got movement, music, and memory all happening at once. That's a powerful combo. Remember, none of this has to be overwhelming. We're not talking about overhauling your whole day. Just 10 minutes. That's all it takes. 10 minutes to read a poem out loud. 10 minutes to solve a brain teaser. 10 minutes to reminisce, to dance, to imagine, to stretch. And over time, those 10 minutes start to build something stronger. More focus. Better recall. A sharper, more joyful mind. Because here's the truth. Getting older doesn't mean getting duller. It can mean getting wiser, more creative, and even more mentally agile, if we treat our brains with the same care we give our gardens or our homes. A little maintenance, a little attention, a little play. And play, my friend, is one of the best medicines we have. No matter your age. Let's take one more step. There's a final exercise I want to share with you, something beautifully simple and incredibly powerful. Something beautifully simple and incredibly powerful. It's called reminiscence therapy. Don't let the fancy name fool you. It's something you've probably done 1,000 times, just not with full awareness of how beneficial it truly is. Here's what it looks like. You sit back, relax, and start talking, or even just thinking, about a meaningful memory. Maybe it's the day you got married, or the first home you bought. Maybe it's a camping trip with your grandkids, or the time you stayed up all night laughing with old friend. As you tell the story, aloud or silently to yourself, your brain lights up in all the right places. Memory, emotion, language, attention. It's like firing up old circuits and giving them new energy. You might be surprised by the emotional warmth that comes with this kind of reflection. It doesn't just sharpen memory, it reminds you of who you are. Of what matters, of all the richness your life has held. And the best part is you can do this anywhere. While sipping tea, while sitting on the porch, even while waiting in line at the pharmacy. Want to take it further? Keep a journal just for these memories. Jot down one a day. Not long stories, just a few sentences. Today I remembered the smell of my mother's apple pie. Or, I thought about the blue dress I wore to my high school dance. These moments might seem small, but they're powerful. And when you revisit them, your brain builds new connections on top of old ones, strengthening your memory with something that feels good, not like work, but like coming home. If you have family around, invite them into the process. Tell them the stories. Ask them to ask you questions. What was your favorite song when you were 20? How did you feel when you became a parent? These aren't just warm conversations, they're brain workouts wrapped in love. And they can mean the world, both for your memory and for your connection to those around you. And that brings us to something even deeper, something I'd say is the foundation of every brain exercise we've talked about so far. It's not a game or a puzzle or even a story. It's attention. Real, focused attention. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Phones buzz. TVs chatter. Our thoughts jump from one thing to the next. And over time, this constant scatter makes it harder for the brain to hold onto information. So if you want to keep your mind sharp, one of the most effective things you can do is practice focused presence, even for a few minutes a day. Try this. When you brush your teeth, focus only on the sensation of the brush, the taste of the toothpaste, the sound of the water. When you eat a meal, really notice the flavors, the colors on the plate, the way your fork feels in your hand. When someone talks to you, make it a point to look them in the eyes and really listen, not just with your ears but with your whole attention. These tiny moments of focus are like sparks in the brain. They train your mind to hold steady, to absorb, to stay awake. And they create a calm kind of clarity that makes everything else, learning, remembering, even relaxing, so much easier. You see, staying mentally sharp after 70 isn't about doing more. It's about doing things differently. With intention. with presence, and yes, with a little playfulness. You don't have to master every trick or cram your day with mental challenges. You just have to care for your mind the way you care for your body or your garden, with consistency, kindness, and a little curiosity. Try mixing it up. One day do a crossword. The next, tell a story to your grandchild. Then stretch your arms to a favorite tune. Visualize a peaceful walk in the park. Write a memory. Breathe deeply. Focus your attention like a flashlight on the small things. Each of these is a gift you're giving your brain. And over time, that gift adds up to a mind that's more alert, more joyful, more alive. And here's something I want you to remember: it's never too late. No matter how forgetful you may feel some days, your brain is always capable of growth. Always. Every time you learn something new, recall a memory, solve a small challenge, or laugh out loud, you are nurturing it. You are proving that sharpness isn't something you lose with age. It's something you build with care. So don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Not your age. Not the occasional forgetfulness. Not the idea that the best days are behind you. Because when it comes to your brain, some of your brightest, most meaningful, most fulfilling moments may still be ahead. Let yourself enjoy the journey of staying mentally strong. Make it fun. Make it yours. And share it with others. If something from today's video stood out to you, or if you've got your own tips or stories, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Your experience might just be the spark someone else needs. And if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got so many more ideas, tips, and uplifting stories to help you live your best, healthiest life, because you deserve nothing less. So go ahead, take 10 minutes today. Just 10. Stretch your body, stretch your mind, and feel that spark inside you. It's still there. It always has been. Here's to living fully, thinking clearly, and finding joy in every chapter, no matter what the calendar says. You've got this.